Have you ever heard the news that a government had to pause services? It sounds pretty worrying, right? But what does it really mean? Today, let's unfold this story in simple, clear words so you can understand what's actually happening behind the headlines. Every government, just like a family, needs a clear plan to spend its money. This plan is often called a budget, and it's a huge document that decides how much money goes to schools, healthcare, public safety, national defense, and all the other things that keep a country running. Think of it as the country's master spending list. But here's the most important part. Before any of that money can actually be spent, the leaders in charge must officially agree on the budget. In many countries, this means different political groups have to come to a consensus. If they don't reach an agreement by a specific deadline, the flow of money for many government services gets cut off. And when the money is delayed, the services that depend on it also have to pause. It's not usually because the money isn't there, but because the permission to spend it hasn't been given. Let's break it down with a simple analogy. Imagine a family where the parents are sitting down at the kitchen table to decide how to spend their monthly income. One parent might say, "I think we need to spend more on groceries this month because the kids are growing." But the other parent might reply, "No, I think putting more money toward their school fees and extracurricular activities is the priority right now." If they can't agree on a plan, what happens? Bills start to pile up and nothing gets paid. The fridge might stay a little empty and the school might send a reminder about late payments. It's not because the family is broke, it's because no decision was made on how to use the money they have. The money is just sitting in the bank account, waiting for them to agree. Governments face this exact same situation, just on a much larger scale. Different leaders and political parties have their own ideas about what's most important. One group might want to increase funding for infrastructure like roads and bridges, while another wants to prioritize social programs or environmental protection. Until they can negotiate, compromise, and officially agree on a budget, the money doesn't move, and many government services grind to a halt. It's a standoff over priorities. So, what actually happens when this situation occurs? What does a pause really look like for the average person? Well, it can affect daily life in several ways. First, you might notice that certain public services are temporarily unavailable. Offices that handle documents like passports, driver's licenses, or business permits might close their doors for a while. If you were planning to apply for something, you'd have to wait. Next, community places that we often take for granted might be affected. National parks could be closed to visitors, public museums might shut down, and important scientific or medical research projects funded by the government could be put on hold. This means trips might be cancelled, and progress on important discoveries could be delayed. Perhaps the most direct impact is on the people who work for the government. Many public workers, from administrators to park rangers, are told to stay home without pay until the issue is resolved. This can create a lot of financial stress for them and their families, as they suddenly find themselves without an income. However, it's crucial to know that not everything stops. Essential services that protect life and safety always continue, even during these pauses. This includes hospitals and emergency medical care, law enforcement, air traffic control, and national security operations. These are considered too critical to ever shut down, so they are funded through separate emergency measures. This situation really shows us just how much our everyday lives depend on careful planning and, more importantly, cooperation at the highest levels of leadership. When everything works smoothly, we barely notice it. But when it pauses, we see the connections. And this isn't an issue limited to just one country. Around the world, similar events have happened in various nations. In some places, political disagreements over funding have led to services being paused for a few days, or in more extreme cases, for several weeks. Each time this happens, citizens feel the effect in different ways. It could be as simple as a delayed tax refund or a longer wait time for a government service. For others, it might mean their travel plans are disrupted because a national landmark is closed, or payments they rely on are late. These events are a powerful reminder that governance everywhere, no matter the system, requires teamwork, negotiation, and compromise to function effectively for the people it serves. It's a universal challenge. The good news is that these pauses are almost never permanent. They are temporary disruptions. Once the leaders finally reach an agreement on how to allocate the country's resources, they pass the budget, and the money starts flowing again. Government offices reopen, public workers go back to their jobs, and all the services we rely on return to normal. But each time a pause happens, it highlights the same fundamental truth. Our societies are complex systems that rely heavily on cooperation. It's like a finely tuned orchestra. When every musician plays their part in harmony, the result is beautiful music. But if the key players can't agree on the tempo, the music stops. When leaders manage to put aside their differences and focus on the common goal of serving the people's needs, life flows smoothly again for everyone. So, the next time you hear in the news that a government has to pause services, you'll know the real story behind the headline. It isn't a sign that a country is collapsing or has run out of money. Instead, it's a story about decisions, disagreements, and ultimately the critical importance of working together for the common good. This was the story of government service pauses explained simply. If you found this helpful and want more explanations of global stories that matter, told in plain words, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.